Nonverbal communication is at least 50% of how we portray ourselves, what impression we make on others. And oftentimes we underestimate this 50%. We prepare what we are going to say. We don't think that much of how we are going to say and project. Either we want to project expertise, influence, power, maybe some presence, command the room. So depending on the goal. So just be aware of that. And one main thing that I always suggest is to record yourself and watch the recording. And if you feel comfortable, show it to your friends and family.
Hey there! You're listening to Amplify Your Legacy. This podcast is packed with insights and strategies to turn your passion into something that endures for generations. So get comfortable, stay inspired, and let's jump into today's episode with your host, Salana Brown.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Amplify Your Legacy, the show where we're going to explore how everyday people create extraordinary impact. Today, I'm thrilled to sit down with Tatiana Teppoeva. She's doing amazing things. She's a nonverbal intelligence and personality profiling expert and the founder of One Nonverbal Ecosystem, a former Microsoft AI scientist and a U.S. patent holder. As she blends behavioral psychology, profiling, and AI-informed insights to help leaders, sales teams, and founders elevate their presence, build trust, and close high-stakes deals. So, Tatiana, I want to welcome you to the show, and let's jump right into it. I want you to tell me more about you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Salana, and hello to your audience. I'm so happy to be here and share my knowledge, experience, and insights. Talking about me, I started with academia. I got my PhD and been teaching students for 6 years, grad and postgraduate students in Russia. And later I decided to switch my career and go into business. And I started from scratch again. And this time in US. I started from small companies like fresh graduate. I got very low level job and grew from there. And as you mentioned, last 14 years I've been with Microsoft. Then another moment came when I decided to pivot again, and I decided to do my own business. So earlier this year, I started developing my business and now helping people with nonverbal communication, personality profiling in different areas of their lives and career. So this is brief about me.
Amazing. Okay, so when you think about the word legacy, what does it mean to you in the context of your life and your career?
I think those are values and things that we project in the world and some statements that we stay behind. So for me, starting at 16 years old, I started reading philosophers like Nietzsche, and Dale Carnegie was my manual on the table that I started with. And psychology and helping people went through the whole career. Even though, as I mentioned, I was in academia, and then I went into American business, and now in my own business, I still have same passion for people. So I will just mention a few things like students at universities that I taught. At Boeing, I was leading customer satisfaction worldwide process. So it was all about people on both sides, customers and the ones that provided services. And then at Microsoft, I've been on multiple teams. Even if I worked with dark fiber or Xbox devices or hardware R&D, research and development, my end customer was always a human. So everything that we created for humans. And of course, now I work with people directly. Like next week, I'm meeting with construction company sales team, teaching them on the things that I share with people nowadays, nonverbal and personality profiling. And I work with individuals. So for me, it's a passion for human in whatever form and shape it can be. For me, it's very important and understand motivation behind behaviors. Why this person did this thing, what they were thinking about. If it's something that doesn't serve me or them, how do we change it? is there is any easy way to adjust and grow, because my career and life overall is a transformation, and I support people when they are on their own journeys as well.
Amazing. I love how you put that. And I've seen you work with a lot of leaders, a lot of teams. So as you look at those leaders and those teams, how do you hope, I guess, your work change their lives, not just for now, but for the generations that follow?
So, if we talk about immediate results, one simple example, I had a makeup artist and she has specific gestures that were not serving her very well in her profession. So, she came to me asking to help to identify what is not working. So, I worked with her and she had a photo session afterward. Photo sessions went great. She changed her image, but as an impact, of the whole thing that she learned. She rebranded herself. And if we now go to her social media, we will see completely different look at her. But the change is not only external that we see. She also changed internally because she realized the values and things that she possesses inside. She was not projecting. But when we don't project what we have inside, we have this imbalance. So when she found what was not the way she wanted to have, then she was able to get it in balance, and her internal and external now matched. So this is a transformation. So going to the future, what I can pass to other generation, first I teach my kids to be good humans, to project good things, serve people, hopefully frameworks that I created and now applying will be also used after I'm gone.
That's wonderful. And it definitely makes a lot of sense the way you put that. Let's rewind a bit. What is the personal story or turning point that inspired you to step into this world of nonverbal intelligence and behavioral profiling?
If I can pivot a little bit, my own business, why I started my own
Yeah.
business. Because the whole thing, like nonverbal communication and understanding human behavior, I was interested since 16. So it was always with me. The only
Ah,
thing at 16, when I went to university, it was not well paid to be a psychologist or something like that. And I'm a practical person. So at that time, I went to into economics, but the interest stayed with me all the life.
mhm,
But the question also interesting that why I decided to give up such a great career and company after so many years being
certainly.
successful. So for me, one of the inspiration, of course, my passion, but second was my older son. So when he was at age 19 after school, he didn't want to go into PhD or master's like I did. And he said, I'm going to do something else. And I was scared because I'm
Mhm,
someone who is with PhD, two masters, and now I'm getting MBA. So for me, my son is telling me that no, I'm not going to study, even though he was going through running start program at his high school. Was scary, but I decided that we are here on this planet to live our lives, not someone else's. So
sure.
I didn't want him to live what I envisioned for him. I wanted him to live his own life. So I supported him,
Mhm,
and he engaged into business, his own business. It took him a few years, but he is a successful businessman now. So now, if we get to this point of this year, I was looking at him and how successful he was. And I thought maybe it's time for me also to try another pivot in my life. And also, I don't know if I will be as successful, less successful, or more, but it would be a nice thing to try it on my own. So my son became an inspiration and aspiration for me to make this pivot.
I love that story. Wow. What a wonderful son. Okay, so we all know success isn't a straight line. Could you share any challenges or setbacks that really tested you and how it ended up strengthening your mission?
Thank you. I'm sure I had many. I try to focus on the progress though, and it's also risk aversion. So when I decided to leave academia and I was on the way to become a professor, I already was teaching at multiple universities. So it was a clear career path if I wanted. And when I immigrated, I started from scratch as some fresh graduates work somewhere. And people were asking me, like, why did you do that? For me, it's a growth. It's a growth, it's a transition, it's evolution. So I take it as a challenge, as a learning experience, as a peel from dementia, right? When we learn new things, when we develop skills, it all helps our brains. And I find interest in it. So I just don't focus on the negatives and roadblocks, which I also have right now. For me, going out, even with you, talking about myself, about my story, it's something new that I have never done before publicly. It's a challenge, and
Sure.
I'm doing it because it will get easier and easier, and I will get more known, and hopefully, I will be able to serve more and more people.
Well, I love that. You're doing such a wonderful job. You've worked across technology, psychology, and leadership. What has been, I guess, some of the biggest influences or mentors for you? I guess, and what lesson have they taught you?
It's hard for me to call specific names. I always cherished people who had a human side in them. So, for example, at Microsoft, across my 14 years, I had multiple managers. And at Boeing as well, I think in 1 year or so, I had like 4 managers changed that I had. So, a lot of people in leadership who I could look up to. Some were not very great examples. I learned from them as well. But
Mhm.
a few people I remember today, and I could call their names. And I remember them not so much as great leaders, but as great humans. And this is what I cherish the most. It's our humanity, this a human factor that no matter in what position we are, we live with imprint that people would remember years from now. They may not remember things we talked about, they may not remember things we did together separately, but they have a feeling, this imprint that they left. So
Sure.
I have quite a few people like that. In terms of traditional knowledge and experience, I try to observe and get great things that I should be doing and look at some things that I shouldn't be doing. And
Mhm.
maybe I'm not doing them yet, so I shouldn't start. Or maybe I'm already doing something and should stop. So every experience, every interactions can teach us something.
Exactly. Totally agree with that. Okay, so if you can leave our listeners with just one powerful idea from your body of work, what would that be?
Nonverbal communication is at least 50% of how we portray ourselves, what impression we make on others. And oftentimes we underestimate this 50%. We prepare what we are going to say. We don't think that much of how we are going to say and project. Either we want to project expertise, influence, power, maybe some presence, command the room. So depending on the goal. So just be aware of that. And one main thing that I always suggest is to record yourself and watch the recording. And if you feel comfortable, show it to your friends and family, but be careful.
Great advice. Great advice. Okay, so every field has a roadblocks. In your area of expertise, what's a misconception that you love to clear up once and for all?
In terms of numbers, sometimes there is generalized statement people who researched about this topic that nonverbal is 93% of communication. I usually say it's 50-50. 93, there was a particular study but Meribian that was generalized a lot. 93% it's about emotional. communication. So if there is a love conversation or if there is an argument and people fighting
Mm-hmm.
strongly, then we can talk about 93% of this would be nonverbal versus 7% verbal. But in general, it's a good judgment, like 50-50. And as a small one, I would say that closed posture, if someone is holding hands like that, it's
Mm-hmm.
not always closed position. Someone can be just cold.
Sure. I like that. Okay. So, for anyone who is inspired by your story, what's a simple action that they can take, I guess, this week to start applying nonverbal intelligence in their own way?
So first recording, right? See what you like and what you would like to change, and then become aware. Awareness often helps. So if you do multiple gestures like that, you notice on
Mm-hmm.
the recording, then next time you present or speak with someone and catch yourself doing that, that I did it again. And maybe it's too late to correct it because you just did it. But the more you realize that you do it, over time you start doing less and less of that.
Okay.
And other good things that you noticed on recordings that you want to do more of, just realize, oh, I just did it, great job, let's repeat it again. And you start doing more and more of that. So awareness is a big thing.
Yes, I totally agree about that. Being aware of what you're doing. And I love the idea of recording it, then looking at it afterwards. Okay, so looking ahead, what's the next big dream or project that you're excited to bring into the world?
We will see where it takes me. I have some courses that I offer. I have individual work. I work with teams. So I would like to see where I can make most impact. And maybe it will be different directions. Maybe it will be one. But because I just started this year, I still trying to find a path that people would be most interested in. And another thing that I'm doing is neurographics. It's
Okay,
work with conscious and subconscious, and I have live free YouTube sessions on this as well. So I'm trying to combine and figure out where I can be the most helpful to people.
that's wonderful. Okay, so to wrap up, if you can capture your legacy in one word, what would it be and why?
Let's make a best human impression. And why? Because, as I mentioned, human factor is very important. And
Mm.
at the end of the day, this is what makes us trust or distrust each other. This is what makes us connect or disconnect. This is what brings us closer or apart.
I love that answer. Well, Tatiana, thank you for joining me today. Let our listeners know how they can connect with you and learn more about your work.
So it's my website, tatianateppoeva.com, or LinkedIn. Search for my name, Tatiana Teppoeva, or I will share with you some information that you can pass to your audience if you would like.
Yes, lovely. Well, thanks once again for joining me. I'm Solana Brown, and this is the Amplify Your Legacy podcast. Until next time, keep telling your story and keep building the legacy that only you can create. Goodbye for now.